promises that never stick. Empty words, a dirty trick. Feeding anger, causing hate. It's time to change before too late. Break the mold. Find your voice, let truth be told. Shadows fade. Unfold, liberate your mind and soul. It's a cult, it's a lie. Can't you see? Open your eyes. Break the chains, cut the ties. Before it's too late, realize. It's a cult, it's a lie. Can't you see? Open your eyes. Break the chains, cut the ties. Before it's too late, realize. Rise above, break the mold. Find your voice, let truth be told. Shadows fade, light unfolds. Liberate your mind and soul. It's a cult, it's a lie. Can't you see? Open your eyes. Break the chains, cut the ties. Before it's too late, realize. It's a cult, it's a lie. Can't you see? Open your eyes. Break the chains, cut the ties. Before it's too late, realize.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen. We are once again back. All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show. Let's get this show started. You know exactly what we are here to do. Oh my God. We are back on the main, ladies and gentlemen. Oh yes, good morning, Priscilla.
It's like a curse.
It is really.
I can't escape. It's like deja vu. It's me, Zeus. It's deja vu when I'm running up these racks. I'm like the Terminator screaming, I'll be back. It's deja vu when I'm out here flying first class. It's like every week I gotta take out
Kiki, good morning.
I'm on top of my game, ahead of the class.
You can tell that I made it.
Look at my grass. Cars in the garage with tanks full of gas. I play the games for all.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen.
Sitting in my living room screaming how we made it.
So lovely to see each and every single one of you.
The algorithm turned to a maniac. I guess we going viral cause my zodiac.
I got all these numbers on my spreadsheet. Benjamin Franklin is my bestie. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the show.
Replies and they text me. I say it with my chest cause I mean it. Got a lot of confidence and I'm conceited.
Hey.
Call me the master with a new whip. I'ma take off.
Here you go, Zeus hater.
I'll tell you what, I haven't gone into Zeus's live in a couple of days. That shit was radical.
Very radical.
It was horrible. I'm like, Zeus has gone way off the rails.
It's like deja vu.
It hurts
It's like deja vu.
it hurts every single time. It does.
It's like deja vu.
All right. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the show. Once again, we are in the Thunderdome. Good morning, Kabir. I'm your host. I'm your pilot, and you know once again exactly why we are here. But before we get started, ladies and gentlemen, you know what we got to do. Let's take care of some housekeeping items, all right? For those of you who do not know who I am, I go by the name Zeus, or some like to say Triple H. And why do they call me Triple H, ladies and gentlemen? Well, it's quite simple. The first H is, well, because I'm honest. I'm the most honest person on social media, all right? And then the second H is, well, because I'm humble. Listen, if I get it wrong, I'll be the first to apologize. Say, for instance, I were to hypothetically do this, leak our war plans to the American people, I would apologize for that because that's how humble I am. All right. But I didn't do that. But you know who did that. Right. And then the last and final H, ladies and gentlemen, which we all know is probably one of the most important H's, is because I am and will always remain the most handsome. Good morning, Zena. And by the way, Zena, happy belated birthday. I didn't know it was your birthday yesterday. All right. Many of you are very familiar with what we do over here on this side of TikTok. All right. What we do is very, very special. We hold the folks on the right accountable for their dirty, disgusting, filthy deeds, as well as their crimes, as well as for leaking classified war plans, right? Because we understand what's at stake right now, all right? We understand that, George Washington, he was the first sentinel to stand guard over this very sacred union we got. And then we have where we're at right now. We have a seditionist, treasonous traitor sitting in the White House trying to destroy all the progress we've made as a country, right? And so with that being said, let me check the temperature. Do we have any Trump supporters out there left? Any Trump supporters left out there? I just want to double check. Civil War Sigma. Ooh, any Trump supporters out there? Any Trump supporters out there? Because before I get into this, I just like to kind of know what the temperature should be when I start doing the cooking and all that, right? So it depends on the number of Trump supporters available out there. Any Trump supporters still holding their flag up for Donald Trump, despite the fact that we have all this evidence that demonstrates that he's no patriot. He's no patriot of this country. All right, so what I've realized is I've silenced the opposition by overwhelming them with so much truth that they're just they're stunned. All right, stunned like Tulsi Gabbard was yesterday in those Senate hearings about that mysterious text group that she found herself on with Pete Hegseth, all right, and Scott Bessent and Mike Walls, right? And so with that being said, I got a bit of a heads up. All right. If you do not want Big Zeus to ruin your breakfast, lunch, and dinner, and everything in between, right? Do us all a huge favor, MAGA. Leave this live and go hang out with those fake TikTok hosts, all right? Because they will, I promise you, they'll lie to you and they'll make you feel good. They'll tell you no one's touching your Social Security. It's going to be safe, despite the fact that if you look behind them, you see a bunch of wolves with their fangs out ready. They're just salivating to touch your Social Security. All right. They'll lie to you and tell you Elon has found all kinds of waste, fraud, and abuse. And it starts with you because at the end of the day, you're going to get to the golden age. All you have to do is trust Donald Trump. They'll continue to send you down that path. All right. But over here, no. What I'll do is I'll tell you the truth, whether you like it or not. All right. And I understand somebody has to do this. So if you do not want me to ruin your morning, do us all a huge favor and leave this live and go on about your miserable morning. All right. Because we are going to make it very, very uncomfortable for you, right? Am I right, Shay? But get this, you don't got to take my word for it. Listen to your leader.
If you're not happy here, then you can leave. As far as I'm concerned, if you hate our country,
W. Kabira.
if you're not happy here, you can leave. If you're not happy in the U.S., if you're complaining all the time, very simply, you can leave. You can leave right now. Come back if you want. Don't come back. It's okay too. But if you're not happy, you can leave.
There you go. There you go, ladies and gentlemen. I can't help but wonder, ladies and gentlemen, how did we get to this place? Oh my goodness, Lady Boss Monet, thank you. Look at that, you're starting to show off with a bang. All right, so listen up, ladies and gentlemen. We all know what's happening right now in this great country of ours. I would honestly say, this is an embarrassment. Today has to be the end of all conversations on the right about how DEI is a problem, because I will promise you this, ladies and gentlemen, the country was a lot safer when we had DEI, wasn't it? The country was so much safer when we had DEI in place. We didn't have people violently attacking the United States Capitol on January 6th when DEI was in effect. Thank you, Thank you, Joe Biden. Thank you, Kamala Harris. All right, y'all ought to be so grateful for DEI, especially to you folks out there. You know who you are. You live in these. I don't know where these people come from in America. There's still pockets of these places where they don't get to interact with people of different nationalities, different religions, different races, and all this other stuff. So they've convinced themselves while they live in their single wide, trailer, that the problem isn't them and their situation. The problem is everybody else, and they say everybody else like it's the Democrats, but they don't understand. It's actually the Democrats it's because of the Democrats that they can actually live in that single wide trailer. W Democrats. And I got to say this, they keep asking us, where's the Democrats leader? The Democrats are not static. The Democrats are dynamic, unlike you, the Democrats. So, but what's really grinding my gears, ladies and gentlemen, is this story. It just doesn't seem to be, it's not dying down. And they know exactly what I'm talking about. And we'll get into that in just a second, the signal situation. But Any blacks for Donald Trump out there? I honestly got to ask a serious question. All right. Tell me if I'm wrong, but is Donald Trump, ladies and gentlemen, is he actually proposing to give the seditionist, treasonous traitors who attacked our Capitol on January 6th? Is he really seriously considering giving them reparations? We got to get this on the record because somebody has to go to hell bright and early. And I think this is grounds for sending, who straight to hell.
No, but I took care of them. I said I was going to, and I did.
Is there any talk of, because they lost opportunity, they lost income, any kind of compensation fund?
Well, there's talk about that. A lot of people talk about it. A lot of the people that are in government now talk about it because a lot of the people in government really like that group of people. They were patriots as far as I was concerned. I talk about them a lot. They were treated very unfairly. You know, the thing they show is they show a group of 1,000, whatever it may be, 1,500 people down. What they don't show, you never see the crowd that day. It was the biggest crowd I've ever spoken before. It went all the way to the Washington Monument. It was so wide, you virtually couldn't see anything else but people. They never show that. Whether it was 1 million people or less than 1 million, I don't know what it was. But, I see Bernie Sanders has a few people out there. They say, the crowd is so big. They don't talk about the crowds. But a group of people went down there peacefully and patriotically. Remember that.
Okay. So, to the blacks for Trump, how do you feel now knowing that he's talking to people about giving those who attacked the Capitol on January 6th reparations? You see what's happening to you blacks for Donald Trump? You are, honestly, you're an embarrassment. I just can't believe you're going to sit here and still support this. Evil, corruption. Has he ever asked, maybe I should give my black Trump voters reparations because we know what black folks have been through in this country? No, he's giving the worst of the worst, the scum of the earth. And if you're a black person that attended January 6th, I promise you won't get those reparations. You know exactly who you are. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're in a situation. This is actually a constitutional crisis. When we turn around and reward people for bad behavior, so you knew the election was over. You knew Joe Biden beat you. I mean, he beat you real bad. And you're still holding campaigns and you invite your supporters to the Capitol on January 6th. And if I'm not mistaken, ladies and gentlemen, didn't he tell them, to go to the Capitol with him, ladies and gentlemen? Did he tell them?
Now it is up to Congress to confront this egregious assault on our democracy. And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down.
Okay.
We're going to walk down anyone you want, but I think right here, we're going to walk down to the Capitol. And we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them. Because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength and you have to be strong.
Okay. And so, ladies and gentlemen, you got them right there at the crime scene. And there's only one thing left, ladies and gentlemen, and you know exactly what that is. It's judgment. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to warm up the lake of fire. Because we're going to send Donald Trump, but we're also going to send all of you Trump supporters who showed up to the Capitol on January 6th, as well as you blacks for Donald Trump, who are now sitting on the opposite side of the table when it comes to reparations, all right? Because you're not getting any, all right? And you'll never be able to date his daughters or Ivanka, you won't be able to date any of Trump's daughters, but you sold your soul out for just the hope that maybe one day Donald Trump will invite you to Mar-a-Lago and let you dance with Ivanka, and it's never going to happen, and you'll never get those reparations. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's warm up the lake of fire. All right, and what we're going to do is start this show off the right way by sending each and every single one of you seditionists, treasonous traitors where you belong, straight to hell. And for the record, I will stand on this. Any Trump supporter that gets onto this show, and we're talking, because I consider these shows now to be like a digital form of a town hall, because not a lot of us can actually go to these town halls, but we know Americans are very angry and upset. Any Trump supporter that gets into my box and starts to bring up any kind of moral issues, and you know exactly what you all like to do, I'm going to stop you dead in your tracks, and I'm going to say absolutely not. I don't care I don't care what gender you are. No, because here's the thing: you voted for the most immoral person, the most corrupt person, right? So how do you fix your mouth to get in the box and start trying to criticize any human being on the face of the earth? I promise you, there's no human being on the earth worse than this guy right now sitting in the White House, and we got so much evidence. All right. Now, the other thing I need to cover before we move on and I start talking to everyday Americans like you out there is this Signal Gate. You ever heard of Signal Gate, ladies and gentlemen? What we got going on? This is what happens, and this is why I say we no longer can bring up people on the right. Do not bring up DEI, because you have no evidence that DEI actually was bad. You have none. But what we have right now, ladies and gentlemen, is this thing called merit-based. And the merit is based on who can kiss Donald Trump's behind and smell his diaper the most. And Pete Hegseth is definitely top tier when it comes to being a merit-based, Trump-sniffing, diaper-kissing individual. And what he did was he ended up becoming our Secretary of Defense. And you know, now we're at this place right now where we're finding out just how incompetent, all right, and how dangerous these folks are. Trump is saving our country. Thank God. Oh my goodness. Dana, come on up here, Dana, if you don't mind real quick. Dana, you want to come up here real quick? Because when my mods, when they pin stuff like that, this means you're down there doing something in the chat that you shouldn't be doing, Dana. All right. Dana Bug, you want to come up here? All right. Because you are bugging. I give you that. You are bugging. And by that, I mean tripping out there. So, Dana, you don't want to come up here and actually put a little meat on the bone? Dana, you don't want to come up here and defend your dear leader? Dana, come on now. It'll only take 2 minutes. I know how to deconstruct and debunk a MAGA person in a record time, Dana. So you don't even have 5 seconds. All right, Dana. Well, what I'm going to do is this. Ladies and gentlemen, let's warm up the lake of fire for Dana. Dana Bug, because Dana's bugging in my chat. All I'm doing is injecting her with some dopamine by giving her an overwhelming amount of truth, and she's having an allergic reaction, and she's now repeating Russian propaganda because that demon is pretty strong in her. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, hey, Dana, you seem like you might know how to type and maybe even read. But what you don't know how to do is read the room or comprehend. So, Dana, do us all a huge, huge favor. Go to hell.
Silence, you MAGA Damon.
Hey, Dana, the thing is, I could care less how you feel. Your little I'm the victim routine, it doesn't work, so save it. What you really need to do is sit your special behind down and listen to this special broadcast, all right? You just might learn something. Trust me, there's been a million Dana Bugs before you, and they all got the same treatment. Because guess what, Dana? I understand something about you that you don't even understand. And this is what Donald Trump says about his supporters.
You're either stupid or you hate the country.
Right? You hear that, Dana? This is what he says about you.
You're either stupid or you hate the country.
Actually, or he has a new one now.
If it was up to me, everybody would be sitting in a room together. The room would have solid lead walls and a lead ceiling and a lead floor. But, you know, life doesn't always let you do that.
Yeah. So, Dana, I understand you don't know how to think for yourself, and you would love to be sitting in a lead room with lead floors, lead walls, and a lead ceiling. And you know how dangerous lead is, Dana, right? The only people that believe Donald Trump are folks like you that don't care about yourself. You don't value yourself. So you have to come here and listen to real honest folks, real Democrats. Because, see, we're the Democrats out here on TikTok. We're the ones you don't see on national TV. because I understand there's a certain group that like to try to be politically correct. But out here in these in the TikTok streets, we're going to tell you like it is, Dana. You're a miserable person and you need to cut it out, all right? And the problem with this, and what they like to say is Zeus, he's spewing propaganda. Well, Dana, check this out. You see how my hand goes right through? You know what that means, Dana? No strings attached. I am not a hand puppet like you. W Zeus in the chat. W Zeus in the chat. Let that be an example for any other Trump supporters out there. While I'm up here sharing out this knowledge and information with folks, seriously, just learn how to sit down and consume it. Now, where we're at right now is we're picking up where we left off with the Signal Gate. All right. Now, yesterday, Trump gave a press conference while he was meeting with U.S. ambassadors. And, you know, the reporters, they're on him. And they're saying, okay, what's your situation? What do you think about what's going on with these leaked messages? And this is what he said.
Hezbollah, you have the Houthis, you got a lot of stuff going on with Iran. And we sent a letter to Iran. You're going to have to be speaking to us one way or the other pretty soon because we can't let this happen. But that's an app that a lot of people use. And somebody got on. I mean, I happen to know the guys.